This podcast is powered by the Mitt TV of Romeo, Michigan. If you're looking to start a podcast for your business or personal use, look no further than the Mitt TV. Their in-studio podcast experience allows you to record perfect audio and capture amazing video. That's all right here at the Mitt TV podcast studio in Romeo, Michigan. Contact them now via email for a free consultation and to schedule a studio visit at mitt.tvpodcast@gmail.com. Girlfriend, I'm so excited to have you here today. I am. You are so busy. I can't believe you even had time to do this.
I'm excited you're in town.
I know.
My goodness.
Only for you.
That makes me feel special.
You are special. You're very special in this community. You've been here for a long time. How many years have you been in?
I've been here for 35 years.
Yeah, but you've been involved in, this community in one way or another. I mean, the restaurant, the schools and everything. And I want to get a handle on where you came from.
Okay.
A little bit about your upbringings and all that and what makes you who you are, because you're kind of special.
Oh, thank you.
Your head won't be too big to get out of the studio.
It's kind of crazy, yeah. I've lived in a 100-mile radius my entire life.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm not that I like going on vacation, don't get me wrong, but I've always been close to home. So I guess that's why I kind of liked Romeo. It was a hometown feeling, and I was still part of the community from the day I walked in, which was fantastic.
Yeah. Where'd you come from?
I grew up in Warren until I was in third grade.
Okay.
And ironically, Jeff Hinkle, the choir director, he and I actually lived 3 streets away from each other. Didn't know each other, but we lived 3 streets away from each other.
We all seem to come from Warren.
I know. It's one of those
move up here.
Those connections. Oh, there's a lot of people from Warren.
Families all worked for the
good.
Either Ford or GM. And
my dad was Chrysler.
Yeah.
And third grade, we moved to Troy, and I stayed there till I graduated from Troy Athens.
Okay.
And I was involved in theater at Athens. I got my first role in my freshman year, and I had to drop out because my mother suffered.
You were getting married?
Oh, no, gosh, no. Oh, my goodness. Freshman year of high school.
Good Catholic family.
There we go. No, I had to drop out because my mom was in and out of the hospital so much. She suffered from lupus and rheumatoid.
Oh.
And so I needed to be home to help out with my brothers and sisters, or not my sisters. At the time, it was foster sisters. We took in foster children.
Wow.
And over the years, my parents took in over 38 foster children.
Wow.
So I guess I always grew up with kids around me, and my mom was a school teacher and my dad was a Chrysler worker, and I was able to get back into theater my sophomore year of high school.
Okay.
And I was also on the volleyball team. Got cut from the volleyball team.
Okay.
Got a lead in a play and never looked back.
Oh, really?
So I've been doing theater since high school, but I always said I was going to be a nurse, ironically. I was going to be a nursing major and a theater minor. The running joke was I was going to get a job on General Hospital and know what I was talking about.
And that was really, everybody watched General Hospital back then.
Of course, in the 80s, you had to.
You'd come home and your mom would be watching it.
You got the Luke and Laura saga.
Yeah.
Everybody knows about that in our age bracket.
Yep.
But then, and I love telling my students this, I went home and I'm like, I got into nursing school. I'm telling my dermatologist this because I'm allergic to everything. And he's like, you can't be a nurse. I'm like, well, no, I have good grades. I got into nursing school. What are you talking about? He said, it's the AIDS epidemic. You have to wear gloves all the time.
Oh.
And my students are like, you didn't know nurses wore gloves? I said, they didn't in the 80s.
Yeah.
And he said, you need a new profession. He said, because you wanted to go into nursing where you're rocking babies and you can't do that.
Right.
So unless you want to do paperwork.
Are you allergic to latex?
And no, I have eczema, so I'm allergic to, it was just the gloves themselves, and you had to use all the stuff to wash up.
Yeah.
I mean, COVID nearly did.
Can you imagine that if you were?
COVID was terrible. Anybody that has any kind of dry skin, it was like, you couldn't use all that hand sanitizer all the time. Well, people don't, it's just there every day now in this world.
Everybody has it everywhere. It's like you're killing your immune system.
And well, that's it. That's why these kids are sick all the time.
They need to go outside and eat some dirt.
My kids did.
Like we did. We all ate dirt.
I always like Jen Bojo, a friend of mine at school.
Yeah.
You know her?
Yeah.
Great math teacher. She's like, for the sake of our kids, we can't dust every day.
Yeah.
That's right. We have to build up their immune system.
I see it all over the still.
Oh.
I mean, and I see people do it. It's at the cash register, and people will, I'm like, God, when you're drying yourself out, drying your hands out, I hated it.
Yeah.
I didn't do it much.
It was hard. You had to find all kinds of different ways to do it.
Yeah.
But it literally changed my pathway. And I had a lead in a show at the time. And I said, okay, I don't want to be the starving actor.
Yeah.
I love theater. I love musical theater especially. But can I sing? Yes. Am I a lead singer? No. Can I dance? Yes. Am I a Broadway dancer? No. So all of a sudden I'm like, okay, I got attached to this director who was just amazing. This man, he could remember every part from every show, and he was just really unique. And the very stereotype of a college theater professor, He had the long beard and he was very eccentric. And
did you fall in love with him?
no, he was about 105.
Oh.
But he used humor for everything, and he was just brilliant. I mean, it was kind of the idea of he's trying to do stage directions, and we didn't have computers.
Yeah.
So he's talking about directing and what picks up lighting, and he was using Fred and Barney dolls, and he's like, well, everybody knows Barney gets more attention because he's a blonde. Doesn't make a difference that Fred's taller. And it was like, it's just funny ways that always kept us engaged.
Of teaching.
And I'm like, I loved directing with him. He asked me to be an assistant director. And rather than just having me do paperwork for him, like most college kids did, he literally gave me a set of notes and he said, okay, you say who you think should get the part and argue for them.
Wow.
And it was the greatest experience. So
you could do that back then.
I was able to direct a couple of shows with him and learned so much and stayed in touch for a few years after college until we lost him. And he was just an amazing person to mentor. So Dr. Gussoff from Eastern Michigan.
Oh,
yeah.
Say his name. Say his name. We got to remember him.
We do.
So who took over after him?
Well, Ken Stevens was the head of the department at the time.
Okay.
And they just had people, it wasn't necessarily stepping into his shoes. I think Ken took his spot for a little bit. And then John Charles came in and he was more on the tech side. But I did my undergrad and my master's at Eastern. I liked it. They let me direct, where a lot of colleges don't let undergrads in on the directing. So I was able to use the black box theater. And
oh, cool. Can you make a living
with that?
Yeah.
No.
Not like nursing. You decided to give it up.
Yeah.
So what brought you to this way? What brought you this way? Like, did you live in Warren?
No, I was in Troy at this point. And so when I graduated from Eastern, I was looking to try to stay close to my mom because my mom was always in and out of the hospital. So I predominantly looked in Macomb and Oakland area. And I actually got the Romeo job 2 weeks before we started school. I had 5 preps 2 weeks before we started.
Do you start on the plays right away when the school starts?
Usually a few weeks into it.
Okay. Wow.
So that was interesting. The stage, my old home where the Romeo Middle School is now.
Yeah.
Patrick Salenbier taking good care of it for me.
Yeah.
That's home to me. I feel like I moved to a new shiny condo at the new high school.
Yeah.
But home is still the Romeo Middle School.
Oh, yeah.
I was there for 30 years.
Yeah.
I mean, how can you not be home? But when I entered for those of you that remember way back then, the backs of the chairs were pink metal with a blue covering.
Yep. Yeah.
It was the most god-awful looking theater.
I don't know where they got that.
I'm like, who chose pink and blue?
Yeah.
That made no sense whatsoever. And so the seating didn't look the same. The backstage definitely didn't look the same.
Yeah.
It was called the Mound. It was a giant pile of everything in the theater. It was pretty much garbage. It was like wood and clothing and props and everything was on one giant mound.
That's crazy.
And I'm like, guys can't climb that. That's not safe. So I think we spent, weeks just separating everything And Larry Russell was the woods teacher. And I'm like, Larry, I have this back
Mr.
room.
Russell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did track for years.
Yeah. And they would do sets.
Well,
They would do the
he would
2x4s for the sets and stuff.
he came in and did all of the shelving in the prop room for me.
Oh, wow.
So that's when all the prop rooms started, and we went from there. But that backstage was fantastic.
Yeah. That was a long time.
We built some monster sets with that.
That's cool.
But we didn't have the technology then.
Yeah, you didn't have anything like to even like search for sets, or you didn't have the internet.
No, you didn't have the internet.
Yeah.
No.
So you have a lot more
resources, 100%.
Right. Yeah.
And you had to get creative, because even our fly space, I found out years later that the fly space, which for those of you that are not theater people, it's the area above the stage that everything flies up into.
Right.
Well, if the opening of your stage is 18 feet tall, the fly space should be at least 20 feet high.
Yeah.
Ours was 9. So
just hung.
Yeah. So they said they didn't want to make the building look awkward by having the back of the building taller than the front. That was the reasoning I was told.
Okay.
But for those of you that have seen our shows over the years, if we flew in a curtain, when we flew it out, we literally had to wrap it over the bar to get it out, because we couldn't just fly it out.
Right.
Walls were built in half. And so half of it would fly out and half of it would wheel out. So we got creative.
I'm amazed. I see almost all of them, if not they're on film when we cover them and stuff. But I mean, I'm amazed. And I think everybody that I talk to coming in and out says the same thing. You go in thinking that it's a school play, because if you've had kids, you've gone to their plays and all that. It was always done so professional you walked out and went, damn, that was professional.
Those are high schoolers?
Yeah, those are high schoolers. Because you expect not to have, like musicals and, voices that, carry through the audience and all that. But you see some of these, the Trek, the last one.
Yeah, Shrek was gorgeous.
Not Trek, Shrek. Good thing we don't edit these. I was amazed at it.
Oh, the talent.
How professional it was.
The talent we had was just, you know what? A lot of it, they were just an amazing group of friends.
Yeah.
There were so many connections made that they couldn't wait to be with each other.
Right.
And you saw that on stage.
Yeah, we got good kids
You
too.
really see that.
Yeah.
And I think that's what really makes our program unique from others, is although I love my parents when I need them, and I've had some amazing parents coming in and sewing and helping me with rigging, but they don't come until we ask them.
Yeah.
It's not the parent project, it's the kids project.
Right.
So my classes are designing the set, and like Fiona's Tower was originally 6 feet off the ground.
Oh.
It was changed 2 weeks before we opened because one of the casters came off of, and it was scaffolding. It was professional scaffolding. And as soon as one of the wheels came off and we had no idea why it came off, we went, okay, trash this. We're rebuilding it. And we rebuilt the tower 2 weeks before we opened the show.
Wow.
But those are the skills that I tell the kids, put theater on your resume. Because for anyone that has ever been a part of a production, these kids have all the skills that the big corporations are looking for. Everybody's saying, we want communication skills. We want people to be able to work in a group. We want people to problem solve.
And multitask.
Yeah. In theater, you get one shot.
Right.
You don't get to edit.
Yeah.
You don't get to rewind. You get one shot. And if somebody walks out there and forgets their line, somebody else better be saving them.
Oh, yeah.
And if the wheel falls off, somebody better figure out how to fix it before the next scene.
Right.
And the people it's a show in itself backstage.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be interesting just to film that.
They've actually made productions based off of that.
Yeah.
Like Noises Off, one of my favorite shows.
Yeah.
The second half of the show, or the second act, is literally what's happening backstage.
Yeah, that would be interesting to watch.
Well, it's kind of like anything that takes a lot of work. It's you don't realize how much work it goes into playing a sport, to trying ballet,
right.
I mean, I took a hip hop class this summer just for fun. It was a mom's night, so it wasn't
okay.
like something. I was laughing so hard because I thought my body moved better than that.
Yeah.
But you don't realize how difficult something is until you're immersed in it.
Right.
And then you appreciate it.
And to remember all the steps and everything, you think that you would be good at it because you know, you remember your lines and all that. But something about old age, it kind of shrinks that brain memory.
I'm going to stick with the 80s.
Yeah, really. And it's so different now, you know, the moves and everything. But you and I have talked, you know, we've known each other for years. And the one thing that impressed me the most about how your style of a teacher is, because you wonder what's going to happen when you're gone. But you've always relied on, taught the kids and relied on them having the certain positions and, you know, dedicated to that particular position. And you've truly been like the director, not all of, you know, you've given them the responsibility and they've taken it on. So they have their peer group and they're learning from their peer group. So I think that makes a big difference.
It really does. And there's always we call it the come to Jesus day, where they're like, I told them to do something and they didn't do it. I'm like, really? That never happens in life, does it?
Yeah. Lesson learned.
I'm sure you do everything your parents asked.
Right. Yeah.
But the trick is, how do you get students to work with their peers?
Right.
And to teach someone to respect someone in their own age group. Yep. And I think the biggest thing that theater takes away is kids respect the talents of other students. They respect the idea that they can't play the instruments in the band, that they better be good to the lighting guy because he's going to make them look, or she's going to make them look really good or really bad.
Right.
But these kids are just amazing. It's like, we went to the State Theater Fest and performed Putnam County Spelling Bee for the entire state of Michigan. It's the conference every December that we attend. And this year, this was one of the years we traveled to show. We've traveled several times, but it was in a brand new venue and it was in a nightclub. And we did the show and the kids are using professional equipment and we're talking like boards that look like the Fisher Theater.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at it going, ooh, lots of buttons. They're literally getting their phones out so they could tech talk with these people and then came back with a list. This was when we were designing the auditorium for the new space, came back with a list of suggestions they had for the new boards and what they were told doesn't work and what works.
Yeah.
I'm like, are you kidding me?
I remember when you used to have to scrap for everything, for drapes. Remember the drapes? Everything. I mean, now you see, you know, especially when they take the initiative to do that, that's applied in the workplace.
Oh, 100%.
You know, because especially small businesses, you're always looking for those people who can multitask, that just don't come out of college with a piece of paper. I want to be the manager and I only know this and I only do that. You know, so that, I mean, that's important for people to know.
They realize they need to find 6 different ways to do one thing.
Right.
Because if that first way doesn't work, what's your second and third?
Yeah. Yeah.
And have your ducks in a row.
So the bad news is you're leaving. Right?
But
there's a lot of people crying in this community.
I know. But you know what? I'm not stranding them. We literally have a student meeting tomorrow with all my crew leaders.
Okay.
I know I have 4 days left of my career and I'm having a student crew leader meeting.
So are those crew leaders going to be like able to
they are ready for next year.
Really?
And I've already got them lined up, my students that are seniors and looking to audition for scholarships. We're already looking for audition pieces for them. I told them, I'm like, guys, I'm not leaving the country.
Okay.
I said, I will be here for you.
They're going to pull you back in.
I said, you've got some new young blood coming in and he's very charismatic. I've met him once. He's got a lot of energy, which is what I had 30 some years ago.
Yeah.
And he doesn't become a parent at 5:30.
Yeah.
You know, when I first started, I was there till 7, 8 at night every day. Yeah. And it was fine because I didn't have anybody to run home to at the time. But he's new to Romeo.
Okay.
But his wife's from Troy.
Okay.
Or soon to be wife. I'm not sure which. I don't remember. So I don't want to get anybody in trouble.
Yeah.
But he's really excited. He's an English major and a theater major. He came from a small town.
Okay.
He was absolutely amazed with Shrek, so he knows what he's walking into.
He knows what he's got to come
And
up to,
and
what
I
bar
told
he
him, I
has to
said,
come up to.
your goal is not to direct my program. Your goal is to keep this program going
Yeah.
because everybody has their own flair.
Mm-hmm.
I said, Romeo's traditions.
Right.
We are.
Yeah.
We're big on traditions. I don't remember these traditions when I was in Troy.
Yeah.
It was just too big of a community. But my students and I, that's one of the things they want to talk about. They're worried about things disappearing or he's not going to want to do something. So I told them, make me your list. What are some things that are really, truly important to you?
Right.
And some of them are absolutely silly. Like we have a giant, it's like a size 2 or 3X shirt that says, you ruined the whole play.
Oh, no.
And because anytime some little cutie on stage would go, oh my goodness, I messed up. And I'm like, great, you ruined the whole play.
Yeah.
And so if somebody messed up on stage, they're supposed to exit left and they exit right. Get Robbie the shirt. And then it's like, oh, I got to wear the shirt. And then they wear the shirt during rehearsal. It's, it's silly.
They want to
little
know
things.
if you're still going to use the shirt.
But it's fun little things like that rather than having the kid beat themselves up that they thought that they really did something wrong and everybody's
Right.
now all of a sudden it becomes
That's
like an
brutal,
award
too, on stage.
Well, on stage and to teenagers in general.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there's some tricks to the trade.
Mm-hmm. Are you going to teach the new guy anything?
I'm going to work with him as much as he wants me to.
Yeah. Cool.
So, but my big thing is I don't want to walk into the first rehearsal or walk into auditions.
Yeah.
Because nobody's going to pay attention to him because they're going to go to me,
Yeah.
not because I'm the comfort.
Right.
I'm the known factor.
You're the theater mom.
So I'm the mom. Yeah. I think I've grounded most of them.
Absolutely. And they probably all worn the T-shirt once or twice in their life. So,
but I told them it's going to be different. It's like you
Yeah.
don't know who you can trust. I know who I can hand my computer to and have them logged in and they can work on the program under my account.
right.
It's going to take a while with you on that
Yeah.
because you can't do that as a new teacher.
Right. Hey, it might be better.
So, there we go.
No, never will.
I hope it is.
Yeah, you hope it is.
It's a new space, create
Yeah.
new memories.
Yeah, beautiful new space. That's all. Everything that you guys have done has been amazing. So you talk about family. Tell me a little bit about your family and your kids. I mean, we know you're lacrosse. You're a lacrosse
We were
hero
just-
because he was
yeah,
just here on a podcast.
That's awesome. Yeah, both of my boys are now, on Thursday, will be Romeo graduates.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh
Ne-
my God, that's Thursday.
Yeah, and it's Thursday.
Did that go by really
Oh,
fast?
I blinked and it's gone. I tell
Because
people,
you were so involved in everything.
I tell people at the restaurant every time they come in with their cute little kids, I'm like, don't blink.
Yeah,
Don't blink. They're leaving you.
yeah.
I said, I'd open up a restaurant because my kids grew up
He needed so.
and I had to feed them.
Yeah, that's true.
But no, I couldn't be prouder. And they're so alike and so different at the same idea. Nathan's 2 years older than Braden. He's at Grand Valley right now, majoring in finance.
Wonderful. That's cool.
Doing great. Joined fraternity life, living his best life.
That's a great campus.
I think this is my last summer I'll have him home. And then
Okay.
probably next summer he'll be living out in Grand Rapids. But I couldn't be prouder. And that campus is fantastic. Such a nice,
It is.
and just nice people in general.
Yeah.
He's had a great experience. And Braden will be graduating Thursday and super proud. He's been varsity lacrosse captain for the past, captain this year and
Yeah.
on the team since freshman year, but on varsity since sophomore year.
Yeah.
So
He's good.
yeah, we say we're not sure if he has that amazing talent or not bright enough to realize a ball coming at him at 60 miles an hour you should be afraid of.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
he's just
No fear.
It's just amazing what that was. His last lacrosse game, I think, hit me harder than my last play. And I
his
think you know why?
graduation.
Because I can't redo his lacrosse game. He's not going to play lacrosse. He'll coach, but I'm not going to watch him play. I'm still going to see my kids doing theater.
Right.
I'm still going to be at every performance for Romeo. I'm going to follow them on, and I better get to the Tony Awards. It's my bucket list.
Really?
And I've got several out there working in the industry. So
Great.
they're doing fantastic.
How do you do it? I mean, you know, everybody knows you. You also
I don't sleep much.
you don't. You don't. What do you get? 3, 4 hours a night?
I did last night. I went to the all-night party.
Oh, you did? Oh,
Did.
was that good?
It was fun. It was
Isn't it
fun.
amazing how much fun they can have? I mean, it's
I've
orchestrated.
never seen the Dave and Buster's for the all night, so I'm like, oh, I want to see it.
Yeah.
I saw it old school when it used to be at the high
Mhm.
school.
Yeah, but we didn't have anything like that.
We didn't have anything.
The stuff they bring in and
Oh
the
yeah, they had
games and
tarot
everything.
card readers and game
Yeah.
tables and
Well, we didn't spend the money on it either.
uh,
So we just went out on our own.
did stuff out of paper mache.
Yeah, paper mache was huge. And balloons and bubbles, you know.
But they
yeah.
say, you know, what are the biggest changes that rocks your boat? Well,
Mhm.
in the past 6 years, I lost my mom.
Yeah.
I've lost my dad. I just married Brian 8 years ago,
Right.
so that's new as well.
Yeah.
We moved. We opened a restaurant. We had COVID hit us before we started.
Yeah.
So it's
Did
been
you guys think you were going to make it through COVID?
well, we actually ours was different because we got the property over in front.
Oh, that's right.
We were going to be in Frontier
Then
Town. Then we moved
Big
to
Red.
yeah. We started at Big Red and couldn't
That
get
was a
out of there
nightmare.
faster.
Yeah. I was with you there.
I'm very excited for the new people there. I'm glad there's new ownership and
They're
and
wonderful.
it'll still exist.
Yeah, and they're doing a really good job
Good.
too.
Good.
So that's,
Yeah. But that's right. We started as a food truck
yeah.
to go
I know.
back. Okay, if we're talking family, my dad's connected with Brian instantly. They had just this passion for food,
Yeah.
and my dad couldn't wait to see what the next thing Brian was going to create. Well, Brian was a chef for 30 some years, and he stopped because he became single parent with a teenager
Mm-hmm.
and needed to be home at night.
Yeah.
It's really hard to live a chef hours and have your teenager home by themselves. So he went into sales, and that's when he and I met.
Okay.
So
Where'd you guys meet?
we met online, and we
Okay.
actually stayed on the phone for the month of December. We never met because
Wow.
we were talking about how many bad dates we had been on, or people that are just not who they appear to be.
Yeah.
So we just stayed online
Join my
chatting
world.
for yeah, dating is a different ballgame.
Yeah.
And I love just this silliness of this, and I know this will probably be cut and hopefully. but
No
it's like-
way. We don't cut stuff.
But it's like
We say it like it is here.
but it's dumb stuff. It's like people, it's reality.
Yeah.
Don't say you're 5'10" and show up 5'6".
I know.
I'm like, I remember so many days going, "You're tall," and I'm like, "Yeah, I didn't lie about my height. You did.
Yeah. Or
How
show
did
you
you think that was going to work?"
show you a photo that's 15
Fif-
years younger.
Right,
Like, okay.
and 50 pounds different.
Right. That's
Yeah.
when I had hair on my head. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a different world. So he and we just laughed all the time. And then when
That's the key.
when we finally met, both of us almost didn't show up, which was really funny. And we just met at Champs when that was still around,
Yeah.
and
And that's the beginning
went from there. And
of a love story and a partnership.
he laughed that I said, he wanted me to go out one night, and I said, I can't. I said the boys are, and I had full custody of my
Yeah.
children at all times. So I said, I just made dinner. I said, if you want to come over for dinner. And he's like, you're inviting me over for dinner?
A home cooked meal.
I go, it's
Are you
just a
kidding me?
pot roast. It's nothing that exciting. He thought that was the greatest thing ever. Nobody ever cooked for him because he was a chef. They were afraid to cook for him.
Yeah.
So cooking was always our thing. And it was something you could do at home. And dating's expensive and babysitters are expensive.
Yeah.
And he couldn't be a better stepfather for my
Oh.
kids. The funniest thing was when he moved in with us, Braden was singing Peter Pan songs. He said, "What are you singing?" And the boys were at this time were like 8 and 10. He's like, "My mom's show tunes." He said,
Yeah.
"She plays them a lot when she's directing because that's how I choreograph."
That's, yeah.
The songs are always going in the house. And he's like, "Oh, this has to stop." So he started Rock Appreciation Week. And every morning while he was making, because now I didn't have to take them to Latchkey in the morning.
Yeah.
And
He took over.
He took over in the morning, and they got great breakfasts and were sent on their way. It was glorious. And they didn't have to get up at 6:30 in the morning and get thrown in the car because their time didn't start till 9.
Yeah.
So they had Rock Appreciation Week. And
Cool. That
lo and
formulated
behold,
some of the kids.
went to AC/DC for in
Hey,
kindergarten.
they're all listening to our music.
They
you
are.
know,
It's better music.
there hasn't been any music since our music,
I
since the rock
agree.
and roll, and in country. What's the rap? There's no music.
Yeah, I always say which artists are going to survive that
Yeah.
you're going to be listening to at your
Right,
kids'
that
prom.
long. Yeah, 20 years from now, they're still going to be listening to rock and roll.
I agree.
Yeah, that's a lost art, I'll tell you. So you fell in love, he moved in, he took care of the kids, and then you guys, like, I remember when, talk about food trucks, I remember when I talked to Brian about coming to the Kids Kicking Cancer,
Oh
you know,
yeah,
and
that was
bringing the
fun.
food truck.
You met
I'm
my dad
thinking,
there.
yeah, your dad, he was amazing. We spent a lot of time together that day. Um, and I'm thinking food truck, you know, a little van, and he wheels in
Oh yeah,
this
12 foot.
barbecue thing that looked like the contests that you go to, you know, the rib contests, those huge food trucks. I'm like, what the, who made that? I
Oh,
thought maybe, you know, you guys had somebody work on the set, but it was beautiful.
It was gorgeous. The only issue was is it's an open food truck.
Yeah.
So
Just had the facade on the
right.
thing. Yeah.
So you were all open air, which on a great day, it's beautiful.
Right.
You get the breeze, you get everything. But any weather comes in, it was awful to deal
Yeah.
with. But
Yeah.
we were only planning on, he was still a salesman. We were doing it on the weekend
Yeah.
because my mom had passed away.
Yep.
And my dad said, I've got a lot of extra time on my hands and this food is too good. Let's do that food truck craze.
Yeah.
He's like, I'll invest. Let's have some fun with it. And we said, have some fun. Most work I've ever done in my life.
I remember you guys telling me because I had no idea either.
And our house at the time, thank goodness we've remodeled the kitchen. But our house at the time was so tiny.
Yeah.
And we had these giant pots on the stove that my brother actually did a commercial for Rocket that was based off of Brian and I trying to cook in the kitchen. It was a Rocket Mortgage commercial where it was a young couple trying to make Thanksgiving and they literally broke the turkey in half in order to fit it into the oven. And I watched that commercial. I'm like, that's us, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like, yep.
So what made you go from the food truck to another huge effort?
Well, we were asked, Jeff Mulholland asked us to look at Big Red. So we started there and then Jeff left and we were with his partner. And so we left after that.
Yeah.
And so we were looking for a new venue because now all of a sudden we had all the stuff to make a restaurant.
Yeah.
And so first we were looking at Frontier Town and then there were all kinds of crazy water stipulations, but that's when another person was in charge and they wanted us to connect to Washington Water when we were in Romeo. I mean, it was that dumb.
Yeah. Another politician's ideas.
It was crazy.
Love those.
So once again, we picked up and we looked at Two Dragons early on. And it was just astronomical what they were looking for. And then another gentleman came in and bought out the entire building.
Right.
And he gave us the stipulations. We're like, no, it's still too high. And he said, a month later, what'll get you in here? Because technically we were two sections of that building.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, we said this, and this, signed the contract. I'm like, okay, we can work with that. That was in February. 3 weeks later, the world shut down.
Yeah.
So we went back and we had 6 weeks to get out.
Right.
You know, we don't know how long this is going to last. And he's like, oh, it's a flu. It's not, you know, which everybody was hoping it was.
Right.
I was doing a show in the middle. And I'm like, you guys just hold on to your scripts. We'll finish the show when we get back. Never happened.
Yeah.
And so he said, you can stay in the building and work on it until you're able to open up and I won't charge you rent until you can open. Well, I don't think he realized that wasn't going to be till from March to January.
Yeah.
And we needed every ounce of that. We didn't technically open up till February because you had to get inspectors. You had to, thank goodness for employees that are handy because we did a lot of the work ourselves and having large children hauling cement blocks because nothing was to code.
Yeah.
The building was left empty for 18 years.
Oh, that place, it needed.
Well, that's when alumni came in. I had Nick who came in, who's one of my alumni as an electrician, and Corey came in, and Justin came in. It's like they're all working in the fields, and
and they could get a job.
True.
project because not many people nobody wanted any
Well,
contractors in the house. And
exactly.
everything was shut down. And I remember you guys working through that and building that place. And it just turned out to be a beautiful place. The way you guys have the whole interior and
It
all
was so
that.
much fun designing.
Yeah. I know you said that was one of the best times.
Yeah,
just designing
that's what actually I got to sit and do through COVID was design the
Yeah.
restaurant.
Yeah.
And then the chalkboard wall was actually
I
painted
love
by
that. That's
it was
my
painted by
favorite.
my students, Claire Termini and her sister and her
Oh
two
my
friends. And then she came over and painted
I was going to ask if
painted
the
the one in
same
the new place.
what
Yeah.
did so now you decided to open another one. Are you crazy?
Yeah.
What made you?
Yeah.
Was it Brian that said?
Brian and my brother are all
Oh.
on the expansion thing. I mean,
Yeah.
it's been a great move. Oxford couldn't be a more wonderful
Oh, yeah.
location.
Yeah.
The hard part is we're the best kept secret in Romeo.
Mm-hmm.
We're back from the road. We're in the middle. We don't get a lot of traffic
It's
with
not
the
a
high
good
school
location.
moving.
Yeah.
I mean, it's better than the big red location,
Yeah.
but even here, thank goodness my brother is great with social media because if you're not going in a certain direction,
Yep.
you don't see
No.
it.
No.
And a lot of people with Romeo and Washington, they think they need to head south to find a place.
Right. Yeah. And where you are in Oxford, that's
We're
they
in the
always
heart of
say
the community.
location, location, location. You got the park right there. People can get to goes. You can eat.
Well, and it's even crazy
if-
things like there's a bar with an open space in the back
Yeah.
that's going to have bands and comedians. They don't sell food,
Yeah.
and they literally let you bring food in.
Oh.
So we're creating a QR code to go on their table that they can literally order from us 2 doors down, and we'll run it over.
Which bar is that?
Oh, I wish I knew the name. That's terrible.
Is it the?
It's just it's in between us and Redknapp.
Oh, that way.
Yes.
Not
South of us.
Victoria's.
If you told me the name, I would know because
Little tiny place.
it's a smaller place, but it's got a beautiful back to it.
Yeah.
It's got umbrellas and it's got outdoor seating with fire and all of that
Yeah,
kind of stuff.
I think that's Victoria's. That's my
Is it?
favorite restaurant in Oxford. You got to eat there. Do you
Oh,
eat anywhere?
okay, so this one doesn't serve food.
Oh, okay. Oh,
This
they
one doesn't.
don't. So they're gonna. So that's a bar. We'll figure it out.
We've eaten at the Mexican restaurant. That's really good.
The
Mystic
Victoria's
Pizza's good.
is really nice too.
And the Mystic Brownie right next to
Oh,
us.
yeah. Yeah, that's what's
That's
nice
dangerous
about
when
that.
they bring over snacks.
Oh man,
Yeah.
you'll blow up. We can't eat that stuff
No.
anymore, But the way you go, you must work it off every day.
Gosh, that's what I said. I'm like, I must be a 400-pound person doing very well. I'm like, how am I not thin with the amount of... I don't stop moving.
I know.
I'm good Polish stock.
Yeah, yeah. It's just big bones. You're just big bone.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny.
But you've got this new location, and
Well,
it's
it's such a different style though. It's a grab and go.
Oh, okay.
I mean, there's like 4 tables in there that you can eat at, but you order at the counter.
Yeah.
There's only at max 5 people working there.
Oh, wow.
So you've got a couple people in the back. The back is huge and it has a pizza oven. So we're looking forward to that. So we're
Oh.
going to start doing pizzas.
Cool. Yeah, we could actually use some good pizza in Oxford. I don't.
That's what
There's
not a
Red
lot.
Naps is supposed to be really good. It's not that good.
well, Brian's already got creations going. He's
Oh, I
got a
bet.
chicken and waffle pizza,
Oh, my God.
brisket pizza.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's a really good kind of thing to have too, because there's a lot of places in Oxford to go sit.
Yeah.
And parks and stuff. So that'll work out good. So when
But
did
we're
you guys
just always
open?
looking for trying to figure out bigger and better here in Romeo. It's like
Mhm.
we have music on the weekends. That's still a nice draw.
Yep. Yeah.
Trivia got overdone, so
Yeah.
we stopped doing the trivia.
Yep.
But graduation parties we're still huge with. Weddings, outdoor weddings are still
You guys do
really
a lot
big.
of catering.
We do a lot of
Yeah.
catering,
Yep.
and our prices are fantastic. It's
Yeah.
like we get it because we have great quality, and we're not outpricing ourselves.
And your food is different. It's always different. You don't have the typical graduation party,
yeah, there's always something fun.
the green beans on the potatoes and the beef. You guys are always doing something different. So,
And we like getting creative for people that want it. It's like,
Yeah.
I think one of my funny moments was a wedding that she wanted candy bacon as her
Oh.
appetizer.
Oh.
So we literally made 300 strips of candy bacon and walked around with candy bacon on skewers, handing
It's
it
the
to
best.
I'm like, that's hysterical.
I love candy bacon.
Who doesn't?
Who doesn't like bacon? It's because it's thick and sweet. Oh,
You
that's the
can't go
best
wrong. You got
stuff.
salty and sweet.
Yeah, yeah. I've eaten it. I've eaten a fair share of my own. So what's in line for
What's in line?
Kendra? Yeah. I know you're not
Well, my
have to
husband's
be.
dead set. You're not going to be 100% at the restaurant.
Yeah.
I'm there as much as I need to be,
Hmm.
and
Are you kind of more taking care of this
I'm more on
in
this
Romeo?
location because I'm the table toucher. I like
Hmm.
going out and talking to people, making sure everything's going
Yeah.
okay, and just teaching wait staff,
Hmm.
working with people and stuff like that. Because you'll have newer wait staff. They're like, oh, they're mad. Something's really wrong with the food at table 14. I'm
Yeah.
like, so I go out there. Nothing's wrong with the food. The little boy just had his iPad taken away because the mom wants him to eat. Her and her husband are arguing because he was late to get home from work. You got that? I go, I stood next to the table for a second and overheard I said, the food is fine.
Yeah.
And I said, do the little trick where you walk by and you tell the little guy, like, that mac and cheese is going to give you muscles. You want to see a picture of my son?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Do you find that
just
the
have
kids
fun, silly stuff with that.
are they able to, look at the client? I mean, because all the kids look at their phones.
Oh,
I mean,
the
they never
phones.
look up.
The phones are an issue in every single job.
Yeah.
They're an issue in school. They're an issue
Yep.
in workplaces. I mean, I don't know of a restaurant that doesn't talk about that issue.
Do you have them leave it in the back or
No, we tell them to stay off of it as much as possible.
and they
But it's
sneak in the
still, oh,
corners?
of course they do.
Yeah.
But it's as long as they're taking care of their clients
Hmm.
and everybody feels like they are the number one priority.
Hmm.
My hostess station, I'm like, you better have your Disney voice on. You
Yep.
better be the first voice they hear and the last voice they hear as they're leaving. I said, those little customer service, the sign that went up during COVID is our employees don't want to be here. Where you saw that sign in so many restaurants, I went, that is awful.
Yeah. Yeah.
And our staff was tipped really well through COVID because they were pleasant.
Right.
I'm
Right.
like, I'm
It's
so
so
tired of
wonderful.
people making excuses.
Hmm.
Oh, I
Yeah.
can't do that because I'm depressed. Oh, I can't do. No,
You've had
Eh,
Disney training though, haven't you?
no. You would think
I would
I
think
had
that
that
you've
Disney
had
voice.
Disney. I've had Disney training through IBM, but I always thought you had Disney training because of the way you present
No,
yourself and the way
just theater training.
yeah. Well, that has a lot to do with it. It had a lot
Every
to do.
checkbox that I took in
Hmm.
college said I was supposed to be either a teacher or a cruise director. So
Oh, there you go.
there should be my second job.
There's your third or fourth job, right?
No, I don't want to give up theater. I'm
Yeah.
not going to. It's in my blood.
What are you going to
I
do in theater?
well, I'd love to get back working with Avon Theater. I
Oh,
worked with them
yeah.
years ago, and they do professional stuff over there. It's just wonderful.
Hmm.
I'm looking to work with Oakland and Meadowbrook now
Wow.
connected.
Okay.
And
You're not going to slow down.
no, one of the head costumers there's one of my alumni.
Oh,
And so Shelby's already got her feelers out, and I may go in and do a master class or look to be a guest. My goal is to be a guest director over there.
okay.
I'm not looking to teach again.
Yeah.
I want to direct. I want
Okay.
to work with kids.
So you're going to take some time off?
Pastor Barkey's already got me
Oh my
ready.
God. He'll
He's-
snag you and never let you go.
that man is amazing.
He is.
We also grew up near each other and didn't know it.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you know he was going to be a pastor?
I didn't reconnect with him
Oh.
until I had both of his daughters in my program.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, we're involved with him quite a bit.
He's
But a good
fantastic.
guy.
but he's already got that lined up because they're going to do an outdoor to the church, and we're looking to put on productions
In the park that he's been building.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Wow, he's got a lot of great ideas.
So
He'll keep you busy. Are you going to take any time off?
probably not.
Are you going to
My husband and I are hoping to get on our bucket list is Greek cruise. Well, that's what.
There you
that's,
go.
But we've got to get everybody lined up.
Yeah.
Like
To
you
be
said,
gone that long.
To be gone that long.
Can you be gone and not worry about what's going on at home?
I can. He can't.
Can you not work?
No, I'm
I
even
can't
on,
either.
even on
Brendan's
vacation. I
like,
need to do stuff.
Yeah.
I can't just I'm just gonna lay here. No,
Yeah.
I need to be in the water or going on a
Yep.
tour, or
Yeah.
I feel like I always need to be learning something.
Yeah. That's me too. That's my saying all the time. I want to be learning till I'm cold in the grave with the worms.
But you know what? I think that's what kept my mom with us for that
Mhm.
long. because the doctor didn't see her walking past the age of 50, and she wasn't on a walker until she was 65.
Yeah.
And she was or in a wheelchair until she was 65.
She kept it moving.
And
Your dad did too.
Oh, my dad was.
Yeah.
Yeah, we lost
He was
him
like
on
my
an awful
dad.
fluke.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just
Yeah.
heart issue that didn't see coming.
Yep.
And but my mom always told the doctor, she's like, I have grandchildren to raise.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
as soon as you don't have that
Keep me
goal in
moving.
front, keep me moving.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm in that purgatory year with my boys, because it's like, okay, they're too young. They're not in the married stage.
Yeah.
They're still in the college stage. And Braden's going into trades, which I'm thrilled with. He actually starts a job tomorrow, which is so exciting. Yeah.
Oh, he's going to
starting
be another great example.
He's going to be a welder.
Yeah.
And it's funny. He's been watching that YouTube welding art.
Oh.
And he's like, Mom, you love craft shows.
Yeah.
This stuff is so cool. If I became a welder, if I did this on the side, what kind of cool business could we have? And I'm like, his wheels never stop turning either.
I wonder where he gets that from.
Yeah, he's my baby.
How are your wheels turning right now? I mean, you're already looking at another job. A lot of potential there.
I'm smiling one minute and in tears the next. I mean, if you want to be honest, it's like 1 minute I'm great, and the next minute I'm sorting through T-shirts. Yeah. And going, okay, I should give a pile of T-shirts to the teachers that are there right now, because I'm not going to wear 47 Romeo T-shirts.
Yeah.
And rather than making,
you gotta wear them when you go to all the.
Well, yeah, I've got enough. Believe me.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I've been already designing another quilt out of all my theater shirts, and
that's a great idea.
And it was such a great moment. I found a bin it was a bin literally in the auditorium that said, "Do not open old theater shirts." And I forgot it was back there, and the kids found it. I knew of the newer bin that had the recent shirts in. Yeah. Like, look what we found. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I thought that was lost in the move when we.
All right.
Because we didn't lose stuff. Out of it. Well, open it up. It was my first 3 or 4 years of shows.
Oh my God.
And Sawyer Lukowski, who played Farquaad.
They were still all in there?
They were still all in there. They smelled like they'd been in there for a while. Open it up. Well, these kids were like, vintage. Well, I had a couple of each of them. Sawyer's dad, Chris Lukowski, was in some of my first shows.
Oh my!
He with Christina Muir, and they played in Annie together. Yeah. So many of the community I've had on stage before.
Oh yeah, a lot of business people have been going through there.
Yeah, it's fun. And
you're gonna make a quilt out of that?
So I looked at a couple of them. I had doubles, so I gave them to kids who had their parents in those shows, and. That was neat. That just happened. So then, tears are going, and they're like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "It's just wonderful." It's so silly.
But I can't wait to see what you get into next.
But,
I'm losing my voice. Excuse me.
No, I don't plan on slowing down.
Yeah.
I'll crush some candy on the couch for a while, and watch some good reality TV for a little bit. But other than that, I got a garden to put in, and I love summer. So
Michigan summer.
I'm an outdoor. I'm not like hiking and biking, but I'm a float, not swim in the pool. And I always say, you want to come over and float, because I don't swim.
So we have this. I got to touch on this because it's one of this community has always been the Hometown Hero Award. Oh. And for Night Under the Stars with the Chamber.
That completely took
you so deserve it.
Oh my goodness. I thought she was planning early on appetizers, because I'm usually handing out appetizers. I'm like, wow, Kelly, you're really planning early.
Oh, it was funny because a couple people called me within the year when they knew that this was going to be your last show and that you were going to retire. They called me, called the Mitt and said, man, this woman needs an award. This woman needs to be, Barkey was one of them. And he said, Ruth, I have this idea for this award. She's got to have one. I said, it's already handled. It's already handled. The whole community knows about it.
Oh, my goodness.
Just to honor you and to show our appreciation. And it's such a wonder. You've been cooking. You've been part of the Nights Under the Stars and serving. And finally, we can serve you.
And 3 of my former students have won it.
Yeah.
Previously.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Christina, Jesse, and Sean.
Yeah, and Sean, yeah. And it's just been, a nice, evening.
It is such a beautiful
It's
evening.
such a beautiful place, and everybody just, and
I'm keeping
there's
my
gonna be a
weather
lot of people
permitting,
there this
getting the
year.
rosary in a tree.
Yeah.
My old Catholic school.
I know you were surprised because your head's always down, in the grindstone, and you don't see how much people appreciate you and what you've brought, the sunshine that you've brought
Oh,
to
I
this
appreciate that.
community. And we wanted to make sure that we honored you too. And at the hometown hero night, we call it the night under the stars now, but the community just loves you and can't wait to see what you do next. Because like you said, you don't see yourself coasting out of this community. So maybe we'll work on some projects together. You and I always can get in
We'd get in trouble
that
together.
because we don't say no.
No, we don't.
I have a no button.
That'd
It's
be
red
good.
and it says no in a bunch of different languages.
I have
I'll bring it.
I have a Simon Cowell thing
Oh
that,
yeah,
that blasting
yeah.
is.
It's that. It's like that. It's like that.
I've seen that from,
Yeah, I
from
need it.
Staples. Yeah.
I'll bring it to you.
Oh, yeah. I'm not
But
good
you're
at-
not ready to push no yet.
No.
I can't wait to see what you do. Don't call me because I'll say yes to helping you. But, we just seen you do so many different things in the community. You just weren't the theater. Like, what are you doing? Is it tonight? The
Tonight.
lacrosse banquet?
Yeah.
You got to run over to the lacrosse banquet because you're putting that on.
Well, I get to be a mom there.
Yeah.
There's a few moms putting it on. It's not just me
Yeah.
on that one.
Yeah, but you're
But-
always into everything.
Jack
So-
Smith deserves every that
Oh,
that
he's amazing.
he's a fantastic human being.
Yeah.
He's another Romeo person that just
absolutely
jumped in and said, "I'm going to make you the best version of you,"
Yeah.
and I love that.
And he does it everywhere. He drives all the way to Northwood, encourages students there. I mean, he's all over the place. He was just in here the other day. I can't believe the people that we have in this community, the positive people that are always working hard, are the people that show up to the
Yeah.
night under the stars. And you can't believe how many of these kind of people are actually in this community. But there's a ton.
Yeah.
And they've produced some amazing students, children and students. And now we've seen them all grow up, and become great people. And you've had a great part of that. So
I was lucky. I fell into a profession that I chose something that I love.
that you loved, that you had a passion for. And that's key. So what advice would you give to your students?
The advice I give them 100% of the time is find something to do that we just said. Find something you
Have
do that you have a
passion.
passion for,
Yeah,
and give it your whole heart and soul. And don't let people tell you can't do something.
right,
Find a way to do it.
right.
Find a form of it.
Yeah.
I knew I wasn't going to be on Broadway, but I knew I could make an impression.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I knew I was good at being in charge. I knew I was good at getting people to feel good about themselves.
Yeah.
It's like I knew that was my strength. But my strength was not choreographing a number like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it sure was me being able to put the right people in the
Right.
spot and making them feel good about themselves. So they want to work hard.
Yep.
So choose
Take chances.
take chances.
Take chances while you can, because you're young, you don't have a family. Do what your passion is now.
Exactly.
You can always switch. Look at how many times you've switched
There you
and
go.
worked the whole, theater into your life.
And I think just like our community says over and over again, you're a part of a puzzle.
Right.
Be a part of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't have to be the corner piece all the time. You can be that odd piece in the middle. And then sometimes you're the outside piece and you're put in first.
Mm-hmm.
And are you forming the puzzle or are you the last piece to go in?
Right.
But you're still part of a whole.
Yep.
And you're part of what made that thing wonderful.
Right.
So, because it doesn't work with just one person. We always say, without the actors, you could do, you could write a book. Without
Right.
this, you could write. And it's just interesting to watch it over the years
Mm-hmm.
and watch so many of my students just take what they got from the arts, be it from band, be it from choir, be it from
Mhm.
art, and just find a way to keep that in their world.
Yeah. Yeah. Enrich their world.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we don't have to worry so much about our world.
Yeah,
that they're taking
we're surrounded
over.
with it.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Kendra, for coming by. I'm sure I'm gonna see you everywhere.
I hope so.
Oh, we'll see you soon too.
It'll be exciting.
Night Under the Stars coming
Beautiful
up.
weather. Come join us.
It's gonna be. We always talk to the weather gods before
we do.
Night
We
Under
do.
the Stars, and so far we've had a couple little bit of rain, but it's
it
never
always
put a
cleared up.
damper on. Yeah, the sun comes out. It's like, wow.
And the band is always amazing.
Yeah. Yep.
They're so much fun.
Well, we'll see you there.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks for coming to the Mitt TV.
Thanks for inviting me.
All right. See ya.